Hi folks, and welcome to another edition of New Start Now. We have a guest with us today, Mary Kay Gonzalez from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Mary Kay came to us a couple of weeks ago very sick, and we'd like to see that interview right now if we can.
Well, I believe that what happened is just the everyday work of stress and not taking time for exercise and eating right. And I remember about Weimar and how it has a lifestyle program, change program, and also to take control of my diabetes, which I was diagnosed in 1999. Being here, I know that I want to be able to continue the work that I do without worrying about feeling sick or not being able to do or be able to travel anywhere with restrictions of health. So reversing the diabetes and just doing a whole new way of eating would give me I think a fresh start to really be able to accomplish what I need to do in just an everyday situation.
Well, folks, in our studio, I have Mary Kay Gonzalez. Mary Kay, how are you?
I'm doing great.
You look like, you look different.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us what has happened. I know you have some exciting news to tell our guests.
Yes, I feel great. Since I've been here, I'm off of all my high blood pressure medicine.
And you say all. Now, when I was on those, I had two.
I had two
Were you
of them.
taking two?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and you're off those.
Off of them, and my blood pressure is normal, and which makes me happy because I've been on high blood pressure medicine for 15 years.
15 years, and in 17 days now,
I know.
You're off them, and
Yes.
your blood pressure is normal.
Yes.
What is normal? Tell us what your reading was.
110/69.
110/60. And what was it with the medication?
It was much higher. I think like 120/, I think 110. I mean, it was the second number was much higher.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was with meds.
That wasn't with the meds.
I know.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, I can't believe it. It's just been a real blessing. I didn't even expect that. I thought, well, maybe you'll just get better, but to be off of that is like a complete freedom.
Now, I know you have some other good news. Tell us more.
Yes, on my diabetes, my sugars were way out of control. They were over 200, even at fasting for over a year and a half. And just in 3 days, they started coming down, and now my sugars at fasting are 89. They stay at 100. You know, they don't go over, and I'm off of all the medicines except one. So I'm just down to one now.
Congratulations.
I know. I can't believe it. It's so exciting.
Yeah, you look so different. You look so much more alive.
I feel much more alive. I think the walking. I mean, before I only used to walk maybe a mile or 2 miles. I've done 8 miles in one day.
In one day? At one time or during?
No.
Okay.
Different parts of the day, but going through the trails and, you know, and I love it. It's like I just have more energy, and it's just been really great. And the food has been wonderful, and everything I have learned here has just opened up my eyes to how I can feel great now. I can, you know, be a new me.
Now, what about the weight? And I know that is not as exciting as dropping the blood pressure meds and the diabetes, but what about the weight?
Well, the weight is coming off slowly, and in fact, today I'll be measured to see how I've done on inches and stuff like that, but it's been pretty good, yes.
Good.
Yes.
And you said a moment ago before we started the interview that you have a treatment in the hydrotherapy?
Yes, it's a fever bath, because I had endometrial cancer a couple of years ago, and they did a full hysterectomy. And this is to build up my immune system so that I can, you know, be cancer-free.
And that's gone?
Yes.
Thank God.
So I've been,
Praise God.
So, I mean, it's amazing just in a few days, I mean, that all of this could happen. I'm just so thankful for a new start here.
Yeah. You got a new start?
Yes, I got a new start.
Yeah. How are you treated here?
Oh, everybody here is very loving, professional. The teachers, the doctors, just wonderful.
Who's your doctor?
Dr. Ing.
Dr. Ng.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've just been just so much information that I can take back and actually use in the cooking school. Learned so many new things on how to be a vegan. I'm pretty excited about that. So they make it easy so that you can actually take this and implement it right away.
Now, were you a cook before you came here? Did you cook at home?
Yes, I did, but I think I tended to eat out more, to make it easier. But I'm excited to be able to, to do a lot of the recipes that we learned because they really taste good. Now that I was surprised about.
So was I, by the way. Now, Sally was the cooking school instructor, right?
Yes.
Sally
Yes.
Christensen. She's been at our New Start program about 20 years, did you know?
Yes.
Yeah, she's an excellent teacher, and I know that you've learned quite a bit.
Yes, it's our cooking school is just, it makes it so easy, and it's not hard at all. And there's like recipes that you can do really fast, less than 30 minutes, real fast ones, and then you can make lasagna and pizza. I mean, things that you thought
I like the lasagna.
Yeah, I like the lasagna. That's one of my favorite.
Now, what part of the program had the most effect on you? Any particular part, or was it a culmination of everything? What did you like to do the most?
Well, I think the walking I really enjoyed because the grounds here are so beautiful.
Yes.
And I enjoyed that, but the classes with the doctors, all the information we learned was, it was just an eye-opener.
Now, the doctors have, 2 or 3 lectures per day? And then you have cooking school lectures, and you have lectures perhaps from from Rhonda Smith, who is running the New Start program.
Yes.
And then the hydrotherapies and the walking. When you were walking, did you get up to the water tower?
Yes, I did.
Did you get to see the sunset or rise?
I saw. Yes, it was so beautiful. I mean, I think anywhere you go on the campus, there's something beautiful. The Manzanita Trail. Yeah. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So.
What really affected me about the walking was I never walked anywhere.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, where I was raised, you either took a trolley car or a bus or a car, and so walking was new to me, and I really enjoyed that while I was here. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes.
Now, I understand you did a treadmill your second day you were here, where they wire you up, and you walk up on this treadmill rather fast and faster. How did you do the first time?
Well, the first time I did okay. But it was pretty tough. But what I was surprised is I was kind of dreading the second test towards the end.
So was I, by the way.
But I did really good.
Did you?
Yes, I improved immensely.
Yeah. So you got they cleared you of any
conditions? And my blood pressures came down. I mean, everything went very well.
Praise
so
God.
I was really excited about that.
Now,
so
what are you going to do when you get home? What's going to change when you walk in the house?
Everything's going to change.
Everything.
Everything. Just from the way I eat, from the way I exercise, and even the spiritual part.
All right.
So it's every aspect of my life is going to be different.
Now, what part of the spiritual part had an impact?
Well, we had a fresh start every morning, which was really nice. And the chaplain, Viola, was especially inspirational to me.
Wonderful.
And it gave me some new insights, and I needed that special time with the Lord, and it was definitely met here.
Yes.
So.
I hear this from everyone who comes through the program. It's just part of the whole package.
Yes. It actually is. You can't separate any of it. All of it makes you a whole person.
Yeah.
It's
Mary
nice.
Kay, I just want to thank you for joining us here in the
Thank
studios.
you so much.
I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you for joining us, but don't go away. I got a message for you.
Well, you've done very well. Do you have diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, or do you weigh too much? Hi, my name is Dr. Ng, and I'd like to tell you about our 18-day New Start Lifestyle program. It includes a comprehensive medical evaluation with laboratory studies and an exercise stress test, physician consultations, culinary school, and an opportunity to walk on beautiful trails in the foothills of the Sierras. Your health is one of the most important things that you have. Don't wait. Give us a call at 800-525-9192 or visit our website, newstart.com.
Welcome back, friends, and in our studios with us today is Dr. Ng, Clarence Ng. How are you, Doctor?
It's great to be here with you, Ron.
Dr. Ng is our medical director for the New Start program. And Dr. Ng, I'd like to talk with you about Mary Kay Gonzalez.
Yes.
And the progress that she's made. And what a delightful lady. She just seems to be bubbling with excitement and enthusiasm about the program. But tell us from a doctor's point of view what's transpired here.
Well, Mary Kay came with some significant health challenges. A couple years ago, she learned that she had cancer of the uterus, endometrial carcinoma, and the hysterectomy, she had a hysterectomy, which there's a usual treatment for that. And she also has diabetes, and she also has high blood pressure, and she's also too short.
You mean she's a little overweight?
Yeah, she's a little bit.
Some of our viewers don't know what that comment
People
means.
don't like to be told they're overweight. So I say, well, you know, you're not overweight. You're just under tall, or you're too short. You need to grow taller. All right. So, but we haven't figured out a way to help people grow taller when they're 40 and 50 years old. So then we have to work on the other parameter, and we usually then help them lose weight, and we help them do that very successfully with the program that is here and the Lord's blessing. The Lord's blessing is really important.
Amen.
Because we've had people lose 140 pounds, 150 pounds, 200 pounds.
Not in 18 days.
No, not in 18 days. And they keep it off. Yeah. We have had patients lose like maybe 20 pounds or 25 pounds in the 18 days, but a significant part of that was water.
Yeah.
And but you know, it has happened, but the program does work, and we're really happy to help the people out.
Yeah. Now, Mary Kay, I understand, is taken off of a couple of her medications since she's arrived here. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Mary Kay comes in with the diabetes and the high blood pressure, the weight, and the history of cancer. So the areas that she wanted to work with, she wanted to lose some weight. And she wanted to see if she could get off some of her medications, and she wanted.
One was for triglycerides.
She was on one for triglycerides, and her triglycerides were really quite high. They were, 300 or around, up in the high 200s or almost 300. Mm-hmm. And so one of the medicines for that was removed, and her triglycerides came down, and they came down quite dramatically, like over 120 points. And that was with the lifestyle changes that she made without having to use the medication. And she was happy about that. And as we would monitor her when she came in, her blood pressure was it was normal with her medication. So we started to withdraw the medication and monitor her blood pressure. And her blood pressure stayed down. So as the blood pressure continued to stay down, we would slowly remove more medicine, and the blood pressure stayed down. Till finally she got to the place where she wasn't on any medicine for her blood pressure, and her blood pressure was normal. And she said, oh, good, I don't have to use any more medicine. And her blood pressures were normal. And as she continues to follow the principles that she's learned, they should stay down. And she was very happy about that.
Oh, she's excited, and so am I, and I can tell you are as well. When she first arrived here and we had her initial interview, she seemed to be a little bit down, somewhat depressed. and she shared a little bit about that. Did she talk to you about her depression?
She really didn't mention that too much, but I know that as we continued to work with her, her mood brightened, and she was much more optimistic, and she was, much more outgoing and much more cheerful and a lot happier.
Well, I think from what she's been through, that would be depressing in itself. And I know, and maybe you can remember, when I came through the program, I was depressed. I thought I was going to die any day, and all these things that happened to me, I was quite scared, and I could see that in the eyes of a lot of people who come through the program. They're not. Some of them are not so willing to share that with a stranger. However, I know that after being with you doctors for a couple of weeks, at least I opened up, and I see that she did as well. Now, she's also lost weight, and I know that she wants to continue to lose weight. Do you have a program in place where you follow up with guests and assist them after they leave the New Start program?
Well, the patients that I follow, every single one of them that I work with, when they go home, I ask them, do you have email? And if they do, I give them my email. I also give them my card, but I also give them my home telephone number. And I said, look, if you have any questions that you want to ask or any problems after the program and you need an answer, or if you get sorely tempted to do something that is less than healthful, and you say, should I or shouldn't I, please give us a call. Anytime, day or night, as long as I'm present here, in the U.S., I'll be happy to talk to you, and we'll see if we can talk you through that.
Now, I can vouch for you, because I remember talking to you on the phone about 6 years ago, before I ever came to the New Start program, and it was like 10:30 at night. And I understand from working with you now that in the evenings you often spend the entire evening talking to people all over the world.
Well, yeah, sometimes that's right, because, I can't really do it during the daytime in the office in between patients. It's not long enough, so sometimes, when I go home, then I'll start to make my phone calls. And if they're on the East Coast, it's a little challenging because I don't want to call them too late at night.
Right.
But if they're on the West Coast, then I'll usually call up to 9 or 10 in the evening. And most of the time, the people are very happy to hear. Occasionally, they say, well, can you call another time? I say, certainly. Yeah. So it's up to them.
Well, I mention these things because the viewers are saying, well, I know some might be saying, at least I've been asked, well, what about when we leave? And I go, well, after you leave, all you got to do is give us a call. There's a number of us, especially I know with you doctors, who are so willing to assist our guests once they've left the program. And don't we have a young lady on staff now that does a follow-up?
That's right. And, another thing I do when I give them their final instructions, I write my my email address, and I say, I want you to give me a report, if you have email, once a month. Give me your progress. Tell me what your weight is, how your blood pressure is. If you've got diabetes, what your blood sugars are and how you're doing. And if you have diabetes, you go get a hemoglobin A1C, which gives a number for what their blood sugars have been like for 3 months. I want to know what those values are. And we often encourage them to get repeat lab work in 3 to 6 months, depending on how important it is. So we want to know how they're doing.
Good. Now, I know that she's going home, and I believe she lives in Santa Rosa, California, a couple hours away from us. She is going to continue on this program. What assistance does she have with regards to how to prepare once she gets home and starts cleaning out the pantry and the freezer?
Well, this is something we talk to them about even before they go. I said, what are your plans when you go home? Where are you going to put in your exercise? What are you planning to do about food? And they start to think about these things before they go. And also for menu planning, they talk with my wife, May, who's a who's a dietitian, a registered dietitian. So they plan out the foods that they're going to eat and the menus they're going to follow. So they have a good idea of what they're going to do. If they need to purchase some of those things here, they do that. And by the way, Mary Kay, even though she lives in Santa Rosa, she's going to come back for the reunion the first Wednesday of the month, where we have anyone who's been a New Start alumnus to come back and we have lunch together.
Yes, the first Wednesday of each month.
Right.
And I think that's just a wonderful plan. And I noticed the group is getting larger and larger.
That's right.
That's awesome. Any other thing you can add for Mary Kay? And
Well, she lost 5 pounds. You know, she's off her blood pressure medicines, and her blood sugars are under much better control. And
she's off the triglyceride medicine.
Right, and
yes.
she's very pleased and happy about that.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Ng, our time is running short. I want to thank you again for joining us. God bless you and your work.
Thank you very much, Ron.
And thank you, folks, for joining us. But don't go away. I got an important message for you.
Hello and welcome to New Start Now. I'm your host, Don McIntosh, and today we're glad that Dr. Michael Orlich is with us today. Welcome, Dr. Orlich.
Good to be with you, Don.
Now, you're a specialist in family practice, but also you're doing a board in preventive medicine. You worked for a time here at the New Start program as well.
That's right. 4 years here at New Start Lifestyle Program.
And we have an acronym here, New Start, which came, a guest came up with that, I guess. And one of those parts of that acronym is W, water.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about water today. Do we get enough water?
Well, some people do and some people don't, but there are a lot of people who don't get enough water, and water is one of those simple things that we take for granted, like air, but it's very important for our health.
Does our body tell us when we need water, or do we have to tell our body that we need water?
Well, it's very fortunate that our body does have a lot of mechanisms for keeping us from getting dehydrated. We hang on to more water through our kidneys when we're not getting enough, and we also have the thirst mechanism that keeps us from getting too dehydrated. But remember, these are alarms of your body saying that you're getting a bit dehydrated, so it's better to stay ahead of the game and get plenty of water. Remember that probably 70% of your body is made up of water. All of the various chemical reactions that take place in your body that allow you to be alive are water-based reactions. And so having enough water, staying well hydrated, is a very important principle for health.
And you were telling me before we did the segment that there's some new research that's also showing some benefits for being well hydrated.
Well, that's true. There are a number of benefits of getting enough water.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most obvious ones actually have to do with the urinary system and the bladder.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you want to avoid urinary tract infections, it's good to drink plenty of water. If you want to avoid kidney stones, it's important to drink a lot of water. If you keep the urine dilute, the stones don't have as much of an ability to form. And bladder cancer is clearly reduced with increased water intake. But what I was telling you about is findings from the Adventist Health Study, which is a major epidemiologic cohort study funded by the National Institutes of Health and done out of Loma Linda University. And they published interesting results that had to do with people on their questionnaire checking whether they drank more than 5 glasses of water a day, between 2 and 5, or less than 2 glasses of water a day. And a very, very interesting finding is that those people who drank more than 5 glasses of water a day had a significant reduction in their risk of coronary heart disease compared to those people who drank less than 2 glasses of water a day. So it seems that something as simple as drinking enough water may lead to a reduced risk of one of the biggest killers in America.
Wow, I'm feeling thirsty already. But is all water equal? I mean, bottled water, tap water, where should I get my water?
Well, some people ask about other beverages,
Okay.
like, say, pop and Kool-Aid and coffee and that sort of thing. And fortunately, all of these things can help you keep from becoming completely dehydrated because they're all mostly made out of water. But it's far better to drink pure water.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest and simplest reasons is you don't need a lot of the other things that's added, and one of the biggest things is calories. You don't want to drink your calories because this can bring on so many extra calories and lead to weight gain. But water itself, of course, we can get it in many forms. And around the world, many people die from contaminated water. Fortunately, here in the United States, most city water, municipal water is safe and free of major pollutants. And so most people can do well with just drinking tap water and drinking enough of it. Bottled waters have been looked at, and in general, they're about the same as your average tap water. So there's no real advantage to bottled water, distilled water, or that type of thing.
6 to 8 glasses a day?
6 to 8 glasses is certainly a good rule of thumb.
All right.
It varies. If you're in a hot environment, if you're exercising a lot, you'll need more. But 6 to 8 glasses a day is good for most people and most times.
Well, I think we're going to have a drink right after this segment of water, that is. And we're glad that you joined us, Dr. Mike. We're glad you're here with us. And we're glad that you joined us as well. We hope that you can visit our website, newstart.com, get more information about this or other subjects. And that as a result of today's program, you have a new start that begins right now.
Modern views of evolution stem all the way back to theories developed in the mid-1800s. Out of the same time period came ideas that shape our educational system today. The Common School movement, for example, saw schools more like a factory with students blindly memorizing instruction rather than thinking for themselves. Their curriculum was rigid and theoretical, instead of being flexible and practical. It was designed to conform the individual into a specific ideological mold that fit the needs of an old industrial era long since past. Just like our view of creation in 6 literal days, we believe the Bible contains an educational blueprint radically different from the one we see now.
Well, friends, thank you for joining us. In the meantime, pick up the phone and call 800-525-9192. That's 800-525-9192. May God bless you.